Madam President, I am thrilled to be able to join my partner in efficiency, Senator Portman, in addressing the energy efficiency provisions of the Energy Policy Modernization Act. And before I get to those, I really want to congratulate Chair Murkowski and Ranking Member Cantwell for everything that they have done to move this energy bill forward. At a time when I think most of us thought that this energy bill was gone for this Congress, again, for the third time, they have been able to rally, to bring people together, to get consensus, to move a bill that not only deals with the energy efficiency provisions that Senator Portman and I have championed, but also improves a broad array of energy policies for this country, and it would permanently reauthorize the Land and Water Conservation Fund. So I want to congratulate them on giving us yet a third opportunity, hopefully, to vote on this bill and to finally be able to pass it. And as Senator Portman said, third time's a charm, hopefully. For 5 years, he and I have worked to advance the Energy Savings and Industrial Competitiveness Act, or what was known initially as Shaheen Portman, which has now become Portman-Shaheen in this Congress. Many of the provisions in that original legislation are in this Energy Policy Modernization Act. And while over the last 5 years we have been able to get some of the provisions in the original legislation through, the fact is most of the significant provisions are in this current bill. So I want to thank Senator Portman for being such a great partner on energy efficiency and for helping to advance this legislation in a way that gives us another chance to hopefully vote successfully on the bill. You know, I've been a huge fan of energy efficiency since my years as governor of New Hampshire, because I believe that energy efficiency is the cheapest, fastest way to reduce our energy use. Energy savings techniques and technologies reduce carbon pollution. They produce substantial energy savings that allow for businesses to expand, for us to create jobs, for our economy to grow. And in a Congress that is too often divided along partisan lines on so many issues, energy efficiency is one priority that can bring us together on a bipartisan, bicameral basis, because energy efficiency is beneficial to everyone, regardless of what part of the country that we live in, regardless of what our energy source is. We can all benefit from energy efficiency, and those are the provisions that are in this legislation. And I will try not to repeat too much what has already been said by Senator Portman and Senators Murkowski and Cantwell about the bill, but I did want to go through a couple of the energy efficiency provisions that are in the legislation, because it reduces the barriers to efficiency in a number of ways. First of all, in buildings, it would strengthen outdated voluntary national model building codes to make new homes and commercial buildings, which account for more than 40% of U.S. energy consumption. So these provisions are especially important in this legislation because much of the savings in efficiency comes from these building national model building code provisions. And again, as Senator Portman has said, these are not done through mandates, they're done through incentives, through our encouraging states to adopt these model building codes. The energy efficiency provisions also deal with industrial efficiency. They assist the industrial manufacturing sector, which consumes more energy than any other sector of the U.S. economy. It helps that sector implement production technologies, and it would encourage the private sector to develop innovative, energy-efficient technologies for industrial applications, to invest in a workforce that is trained to deploy energy efficiency practices to manufacturers. And finally, the other major section of the efficiency provisions from Portman-Shaheen deals with the federal government, because we encourage the federal government, which is the nation's largest energy consumer, to adopt more efficient building standards, to adopt smart metering technology, to look at our data centers and see how we can reduce cost and energy use. And through doing this, not only can we save energy, but we can save taxpayers millions of dollars. So just the energy efficiency provisions from Portman Shaheen in the legislation would create nearly 200,000 jobs by 2030, so a significant job creator in the bill. It would reduce carbon emissions by the equivalent of taking over 20 million cars off the road, and it would save consumers over $16 billion a year. So there are significant benefits to this energy efficiency. And again, as Senator Portman has said, these are provisions that have brought together a very diverse group of stakeholders. Everyone from the American Chemistry Council to the National Wildlife Federation, as Senator Portman said, the NRDC, the National Association of Manufacturers, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. This is a broad group of trade associations, labor organizations, environmental groups who have come together because energy efficiency is something that we can all agree on. And, Madam President, I have, for the record, a number of letters that have been sent by many of these organizations that I would like to ask unanimous consent to submit to the record.
Is there objection? Without objection.
Thank you. Finally, in closing, in a little while this afternoon, we will have a series of votes on amendments to the Energy Policy Modernization Act, and we'll have a final vote for passage of the bill. I believe, and it's certainly my hope, that the broad package will pass. I think it's been far too long since Congress passed a comprehensive energy bill, and it's time for us to work together to pass this important piece of legislation to improve our nation's energy policies, to help grow our economy. I believe there is support in the other chamber, in the House, to take up this energy package, hopefully to pass it this year, because it will improve our economy, it will improve our national security, it will improve our environment. This is legislation that we should all get behind. And again, I want to thank my colleague, Senator Portman, and applaud Senators Cantwell and Murkowski for all of the work that they have done to bring this legislation to the floor. Thank you, Madam President. I yield.